Okay, what do you learn about Alison's parents?
Allison's parents got divorced when she was just 13,
Yes.
and she didn't want to do that with herself.
Uh-huh.
Then, yeah, they were not a good couple.
Come again, man.
They were not good couple. They,
Who Alison's parents?
yeah,
All right.
I
I
mean,
don't
because
know
of that.
how. I don't know what to say about that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps I don't totally agree with that. Your comment. They were not a
Uh,
good couple. I don't know. I will say some people are not a good couple when they are violent to each other. You know what I mean? But they get
mm-hmm.
divorced when their daughter is 13. Then I will not say they are not good couples. Um, for me, they can be amazing couples, but that's all. 13 years is all they wanted to be together. And then they thought, okay, perhaps they wanted something else out of their life. And they could live without each other as partners. They can still have each other as friends in their lives. I know what I'm saying sounds pretty
Mm-hmm.
unrealistic. I agree. Most marriages are
Yeah,
very,
because
very bitter and
mm-hmm.
violent,
It
full
has
of
bad effect
accusation,
on children's.
full of, and there is a reason, Rakhi. There is a reason. Okay, let me tell you.
That's
Man,
why she's also talking about it.
I can say that. I can agree with that point that maybe it was not a very nice, divorce, but some divorces are very, very cordial. Look, different people have different expectations of their marriage. Okay. Some people expect one thing from their marriage, some people expect something totally different from their marriage. So, and as an outsider, you can't decide why two people got divorced. Yes, I agree that most divorces in our surroundings are bitter divorces, ugly divorces,
Mm,
divorces where there is
mm.
violence, there are a lot of accusations on each other, ugly accusations. They horrible things are said about each other in the courts. Those divorces are going to definitely have a very negative impact on the kids. But there can be a couple like what Ritik Roshan. Did you hear anything bad about Ritik and his wife Suzanne? They still sometimes take photos
No.
and put on social media with their children. So they were happy together for a certain time, and they had different expectations of their lives. Look how Ritik Roshan looks in his nearly 50s. He's in his 50s, I think, now. Okay. He's definitely around 49, 50. Okay. Or maybe older. Okay.
It's very like rare that
I know,
couples
because
have
human beings
mutual
they have
understanding.
not evolved to understand these things. Their understanding of relationship has not evolved so much. That's why, you know, when you take your relationship in the right way, after spending 15, 20 years together, if you decide to separate, I don't know why there should be any violence, there should be any ugliness in your divorce. It can be cordial. How could you manage to live together for such a long time if you never loved each other? And if you did love each other, then respect that love, respect that feeling, and allow each other to explore other possibilities in their lives. Why make it ugly? But again, like I know what I'm saying, it's not very practical today. Very few people are evolved enough, mature enough, emotionally sound enough to handle this way. But it is not impossible.
Exactly.
People have done it. So those who are not able to do it, it is their own weakness. How did this? And remember, Ritik Roshan did not get into a fight with his ex-wife for the divorce, but he got into trouble with this girl Kangana. And remember, I'm not somebody who likes talking about celebrities and their personal lives, but when it comes to Ritik Roshan and Kangana Ranaut, I am heavily on bent, inclined towards his side, Hrithik Roshan's side. I think he was innocent and he was made to, suffer because he was a big name. Kangana Ranaut is a very controversial person. She says a lot of controversial things, horrible things, to things which are not really very smart to say, but she says those things. So we all understand what kind of person she is, what she might have done with Hrithik Roshan, and why Hrithik Roshan didn't want to be with her. Sorry, if you are a big Kangana Ranaut fan, I'm sorry. But on that, in that episode where she had a big fight with Hrithik Roshan, she dragged Hrithik Roshan to court. Okay. And Hrithik Roshan, have you seen Hrithik Roshan talking about it in social media so much? No, he doesn't talk about, Kangana Ranaut in his interviews. I think once or twice he was forced to make a comment or two, but this woman was going all out, complaining about that guy and saying so many horrible things about him, how he mistreated her as if she was a newcomer or something. When Kangana Ranaut did that movie with Hrithik Roshan, Koi Mil Gaya sequel, okay, she was not a newcomer, okay? Hrithik Roshan couldn't have taken advantage of her. And if that was Hrithik's personality, then we would have heard a lot of other such scandals about him. But we never heard a word about Hrithik Roshan from anybody. It was only Kangana Ranaut, already an established actress, when she did that movie. And you're saying that she took advantage of you? He took advantage of you? It's the easiest thing girls can say about guys. Took advantage of me. As if, okay, fine. Coming back to this. How is her life different from Harry's? You guys read about Harry's life as well. So how is, Alison's life different from Harry's life? Go on. Yeah, guys, how is Alison's life different from Harry's life? I think I have made some people unhappy with my comments about Kangana Ranaut. Nobody is speaking.
No, sir. Don't know the answer.
Hmm? They're not speaking there because of the government. I think they know. Alison's life is different from Harry's life. You need to read about Harry's life. But before I ask you to answer this question, maybe I would like to take you to the audio script of 11.6. Alison's life. Okay, let's listen.
11.6. Alison's life.
I didn't marry until quite late.
I didn't marry until quite late. Do you guys understand? The Hindi will be a negative sentence or a positive sentence?
So connected to the computer that we can hear
It
also.
will be a negative sentence or a positive sentence? Yeah? Okay, say the Hindi. किधर का negative है? ये negative sentence है, लालू लाल. Short circuit लग गया इसका. You can marry earlier, that's when negative. But if you marry later. No. Oh, you guys, I'm asking grammatical. From grammatical understanding. The Hindi will be a negative sentence or positive sentence. Okay. I didn't marry until quite late. You answered it correctly, but your first answer that it will be a negative sentence was silly. Guys, it is a negative sentence in English. But when you translate it into Hindi, it will be a positive sentence. Can anybody try? I didn't marry until quite late. Sahil?
मैंने काफी लेट से शादी
That's right, man.
Yes, sir, I was on the call. You said
Yes, Sahil. I didn't marry until quite late. मैंने काफी
मतलब
देर से शादी की.
काफी समय काफी देर में शादी की, काफी देर से शादी किया, मतलब नहीं किए थे, काफी टाइम तक नहीं किए थे.
Yes, Dave, you are new to the class. I would like to tell you, when you have a negative sentence and until, तो वो साथ में मिलकर एक पॉजिटिव सेंटेंस बन जाते हैं, लेकिन उसकी जो हिंदी होगी उसमें डिले का सेंस आएगा. मैंने काफी देर से शादी की. I didn't marry until quite late. अच्छा, मैंने ना 11 बजे ब्रश किया आज. मैंने 11 बजे ब्रश किया आज. I
I
didn't
did not brush until here.
until 11
Didn't
o'clock.
brush my teeth until 11 o'clock.
I
I
didn't
didn't
brush
brush my
until
teeth until 11. Dave, अगर आप बोलना चाहते हो कि सर हम 5 साल में बोलना शुरू किए थे, नॉर्मली बच्चे 2-2.5 साल में बहुत अच्छे से बात 1-1.5 साल में बोलने लग जाते हैं. अब बोलो हम 5 साल में बोलना शुरू किए, कैसे बोलोगे?
I did not speak until 5 years.
Yes. Do you know one fact about this guy? What is his name? The best, the greatest scientist ever, Einstein. You know what a truth about it, a fact about him? He couldn't speak until he was 8. He couldn't speak until he was 8. Did you know that?
No, sir.
Funny. He couldn't speak until he was 8, and then he was proven to be one of the smartest people ever to be born on this planet. Right? He gave the idea of danger. Yeah. Okay. People are still trying to understand what he said. I didn't marry until quite late. So I hope negative sentence and until. यार 2 बज जाता है सोने में यार, क्या उठेंगे सुबह. 2 बज जाता है सोने में. I don't go to bed until 2 o'clock. How can I get up early morning? No way. I don't go to bed until 2 a.m. Okay? 2 बज जाता है सोने में. So I didn't marry until quite late. मैं बहुत देर से शादी की, काफी देर से शादी की.
I met my husband when I was 30, and we didn't marry until I was 33.
See, I met my husband when I was 30. 30 साल की उम्र में मेरी मुलाकात हुई और हम लोग की शादी 33 साल में हुई जाए. ये नहीं कि 30 में मिले 31 में कर दिया शादी. No, we didn't marry until I was 33. For 3 years she dated him.
So we cannot listen audio.
Oh, we cannot hear the audio. We cannot
Hear the audio.
आवाज आने के लिए listen नहीं बोलते बेटा, आवाज आने के लिए hear बोलते.
Okay.
You can't hear the audio.
That was in 2012.
We didn't marry until I was 33. That was in 2012. So they got married in 2012.
We got married in a church near where my mum lives.
We got married in a church near where my mom lives. Now, no wonder their marriage is intact, their marriage is going great, because God is with them, you see. After all, they got married in a church, you see. So of course they will be happy. They got married in a church near where my mom lives.
Ben and I had a great honeymoon.
Ben and I had a great honeymoon. Ben and I had a great honeymoon. By the way, Indians, when we think of honeymoon, they think of sexual relationship, which is strange and I will say vulgar. It is vulgar. It shows our vulgar, attitude about marriage, towards marriage. Honeymoon is a time when you guys are away from the tensions of the world and you're enjoying being together. So it is not just about sexual relationship, it's about having fun together. And I don't think any two people spend their time just having sex even after they get married, they're newly married. It is, if somebody does, these people are definitely sick. They need some consultation with a doctor. Most people like spending time together, away from work, away from the tensions of the world. They just like being together, traveling to places, eating food, and having experiences. That's honeymoon. So honeymoon period for a government is the early days after they have been elected. The early days after they have been elected as a government, it's their honeymoon period. So sometimes what happens that a government is elected, they have all things going for them. People are happy with them. They have voted them into power. But after 6 months or 3 months or 4 months, then people start protesting against the same government they have elected. Okay, and now they have to deal with that protest. So we will say the honeymoon period is over now. Okay. So figuratively speaking, honeymoon period. The government is not on a honeymoon. They're not husband and bride. Okay. So by the way, Ben and I had a great honeymoon. We toured America.
We toured America.
Toured America means they traveled around America. We toured America.
We were away for 3 weeks.
We were away for 3 weeks. They were away for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, they were in America, away from their country, away from their city.
And soon after that, I found I was pregnant.
And soon after that, I found I was pregnant. Soon after that, that refers to the 3 weeks of their honeymoon. Soon after that, I found I was pregnant.
That was Ellen, our first baby.
That was Ellen, our first baby.
She was born the year after we got married.
She was born the year after we got married. She was born the year after we got married. She was born the year after we got married. Learn this sentence. हमारी शादी के अगले साल, 1 साल बाद वो पैदा हुई. She was born the year after we got married. She was born the year after we got married. अगर होता शादी के 2 साल बाद पैदा हुई तो सब कुछ वही होगा. She was born 2 years after we got. ये बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग है, बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग. मैं हिंदी स्पीकिंग पर्सन रहा हूं, तो मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल था ये, क्योंकि आफ्टर का जो सेंस है ना, हम लोग को आगे पीछे उलट पुलट हो जाता है, किसके बाद कौन. तो कुछ लोग को लगता है कि बाद में शादी हुई, आफ्टर वी गॉट मैरिड, बाद में हमारी शादी हुई. अरे नहीं, शादी के बाद, आफ्टर वी गॉट मैरिड. ओके, क्या तुम मुझे याद करोगे मेरे मरने के बाद? विल यू मिस मी आफ्टर माई डेथ? आफ्टर माई डेथ बोलता है ना, तो बोलो आफ्टर आई डाई. विल यू मिस मी आफ्टर आई डाई? विल यू मिस मी आफ्टर आई डाई? आफ्टर आई डाई मीन्स आफ्टर माई डेथ. तो आफ्टर आई डाई मतलब मेरे मरने के बाद. आफ्टर आई डाई नहीं कि बाद में हम मरेंगे, ऐसा नहीं बोल रहे हैं. ठीक है, तो प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दिस यूज. शी वॉज बोर्न द ईयर आफ्टर वी गॉट मैरिड. हमारी शादी के अगले साल वो पैदा हुई. ओके, अगर 2 साल बाद पैदा होती तो शी वॉज बोर्न 2 years after we got married. My brother was born 3 or 4 years after my parents got married. My brother was born, my elder brother was born 3 or 4 years after my parents got married. मम्मी पापा के शादी के 3-4 साल बाद भैया हुए. My mother had some miscarriages, all right. So she was very nervous about it. She was not getting a baby. One boy was born before my brother, and he lived for a day or two, and then he passed away. He only lived for a day or two. So my mother was heartbroken. Okay, for any woman, especially in the past, even today, it is a very big, setback, very big emotional crisis for a woman to be pregnant and not to be able to, have the baby. When you suffer miscarriages, you see. So yeah, that's why my mother loved my brother a lot when he was a kid. And I didn't understand this because I was a child. I always felt that my mother was so biased, for him. And she only loved him and she didn't care about me at all. I used to be very unhappy about it. but I didn't understand the situation, the context, why my mother behaved that way for him. Because he was born 3 or 4 years after my mother was married. Okay, she was born the year after we got married. चलो सब लोग अपने अपने life के कुछ sentences दो. First, quickly, ताकि मैं समझ सकूं you understood this. Give me a couple of sentences, guys. चलो मैरिज शादी और बच्चे बच्चे की बातें करते हैं ना, अपने बारे में बताओ. I was born. बोलो बोलो. Come on.
Yeah, I was born 7 years after my parents got married.
Okay, Mukarram. Mukarram was born 7 years after his parents were married. Okay, fine. Just practice this pattern. Come on, everybody. We will take baby steps, okay? Go ahead. No need to rush. Just the same pattern, the same story, about in the same context. Go ahead.
I was born after my elder brother.
Sahil, baby step Sahil. जो है वही बोलो.
Oh,
चलेंगे आगे. Go ahead, Sahil. Bolo, I was born.
the same which I said.
No, just say I was born.
I was born
And how many years after your parents got married? Now tell me the number.
I think they got married in. I don't know.
Make a guess. You don't have to be precise. Nobody's asking you for the documents here. Share of
I
number.
was born in 2001. Maybe they got married in 1998.
Sahil, you're confusing us. I said nobody's asking you for the document, so you can just say any number, 5, 6, 7. But I want to see if you understand the pattern of the sentence.
Okay, sir. I was born after 7 years. After 7 years,
That's the problem, Sahil. That's the problem. The sentence is right in front of you, but you're not observing it. I told you guys, this is the biggest problem. I was born 7 years after my parents got married. I was born 7 years after my parents got married. बहुत मुश्किल है इसको महसूस करना, बट करो. मम्मी पापा के शादी के 7 साल बाद मैं पैदा हुआ. फिर से बोलना साहिल.
I was born 7 years after that. My father, after
That बोल रहा
my
हूँ.
parents got married.
फिर से बेटा महसूस करो साहिल. Feel your sentence.
I was born after 7 years.
अरे बाबू लट कर रहे हो. मैंने कहा my brother was born 3 years or 4 years after my parents got married. Mukarram, repeat your sentence so that Sahil can repeat that as well. Mukarram, what was your sentence?
Yes, sir. I was born 7 years after my parents got married.
Mukarram was born 7 years after his parents got married. Pattern को ध्यान दो, word order को ध्यान दो. It's a very difficult word order for Hindi speakers. Go on. Sahil.
I was
I was
born
born
10
2 years,
years.
2
Sanjeev?
years after.
Yes, Sahil.
I was born 2 years. I was born 2 years after my brother born.
साहिल पेरेंट्स तक ही रहते हैं ना थोड़ा सा. अभी मैंने कहा बेबी स्टेप लेते हैं ताकि बहुत प्रैक्टिस कर सके. बाकी गलत नहीं हो तो, बट टेक बेबी स्टेप्स साहिल. ओके, टेक बेबी स्टेप्स. Go slow. Okay, Sanjeev, you were born 10 years after your parents got married, Sanjeev. Sanjeev. Sanjeev is gone. Okay, other people, tell me. I was born 1 year after they got married. You were born 1 year after your parents got married. Say my parents. Okay. Yes, Sanjeev. Neha, Rukaiya.
Yes, sir. I I was I was born 10 years after my parents got married.
Wow, Sanjeev, that's amazing. Sanjeev was born 10 years after his parents got married. Okay, that's really interesting. Neha?
I was born the year after my parents got married.
Okay. Okay, Rukaiya. Rukaiya was born just a year after her parents got married. Okay. Neha.
I was born 9 years after parents got married.
You were born 9 years after your parents got married.
I'm a younger one, sir.
So you're saying 9 years.
9 years.
Wow, another really surprising, piece of information. Neha was born 9 years after her parents got married, guys. Wow, that's interesting. Neha. Okay, Neha and Sanjeev, you guys are the youngest children, right, of your parents?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Neha was born 9 years after her parents got married. Sanjeev was born 10 years after his parents got married. Okay, ma'am.
I was born 6 years after my parents got married.
Wow, amazing. 6 years. Wow. Ravi, Rakhi.
I was born 10 years after my parents got married.
Okay.
Yes.
10 years, you said, Rakhi.
Yes, sir. I'm
Wow.
the fifth child.
You're the fifth child of your parents. No wonder. What about you, Ravi?
I don't know exact the year, sir.
Just say any number, man. I'm not asking for the documents. It's not a class for verifying your date of birth or year of birth. It's an English language class. Don't forget that. Ravi?
I was born after that my 6 years, 6, 7 years after my parents got married.
Okay, your voice is not very clear, Ravi. If you could please use your internal microphone and not the external microphone. If you're using your mobile, whatever mic you're using is not helping. Okay. Wow. It's very hot there, isn't it, Ravi?
What about now, sir?
Yeah, better.
Sir, if I want,
Go on, Ravi.
I was born 7 years after my parents got married.
Okay. I was born, I think, 7 years after my parents got married. No problems.
sir,
Anybody?
if I want to, hello, sir.
Yes, Sahib.
हम मतलब ये बोलना चाहें सर कि मतलब हम अपने बड़े भाई से 2 साल के बाद मतलब हम पैदा हुए तो उसको मतलब कैसे इंग्लिश में बोलेंगे सर?
Sahib, be patient a little bit, okay? I have been saying baby steps, baby steps. Please, sometimes you should be a little patient. We will come to that, okay? First of all, let me say this. Sometimes some people from the West might say this, I was born a year before my parents got married. Right. Some children might say this in the West, okay, that I was born 2 years before my parents got married. Okay, so these children were born first, and 2 years after that, the parents got married. Okay, so understand how these words work. Everybody gave the same example. Now, connect your birth, make a sentence about your time of birth, your year of birth, with your brothers or sisters, your siblings, year of birth. Like Sahil is trying to say your sentence, Sahil,
In Hindi or English?
in English, of course.
I was born 2 years after my elder brother was born.
Exactly. You were born 2 years after your elder brother Shahid was born, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Sahil was born 2 years after Shahid was born. Okay. कुछ लोग को नहीं समझ में आएगा, कुछ लोग आएगा साहिल was born और 2 years after शाहिद was born, तो कुछ लोग समझेंगे 2 साल बाद शाहिद पैदा हुआ, लेकिन नहीं, शाहिद के पैदा होने के 2 साल बाद साहिल पैदा हुआ। यही है इंग्लिश का कंफ्यूजन हिंदी के हिसाब से। कुछ लोग इसको बिल्कुल वैसे समझेंगे, सुनिए ना, साहिल was born 2 years after that शाहिद was born. ओके, कुछ लोग इसको ऐसे समझेंगे कि साहिल पैदा हुए 2 साल बाद 2 years after शाहिद was born, 2 साल बाद शाहिद पैदा हुआ, तो सब लोग शाहिद छोटे हैं, लेकिन इंग्लिश में कहा जा रहा है साहिल was born 2 years after शाहिद was born, यानी शाहिद के पैदा होने के 2 साल बाद साहिल पैदा हुआ। तो इट्स अ कंफ्यूजिंग थिंग हिंदी स्पीकर्स के लिए। गुड जॉब साहिल, यू अंडरस्टूड द स्ट्रक्चर। नाउ चलिए कुछ और ट्राई करते हैं। ओके, गांधी जी died a year after India got independent. He died in 1948, if I'm not wrong. Right? India got independent in 1947, August, and he died on the 30th of January. Okay, he died the year after India got independent. He died not a year after, the year after. Okay, he died the year after India got independent. भारत के आजाद होने के अगले साल वो गुजर गए। गांधी जी was killed और गांधी जी died the year बोलने का मतलब एक साल नहीं हो रहा है, अगले साल, ठीक है ना, हाँ, नेक्स्ट ईयर का भी एक साल बाद, मतलब कि 365 दिन वाली फीलिंग आ जाए, ठीक है ना, वो तो हुआ नहीं था। तो गांधी जी died the year after India got independent। और बताओ भाई, some more sentences, people।
My grandfather died a year after I was born.
Oh, so sad, Sanjeev. Sanjeev was 1 year old when his grandfather died, right, Sanjeev? You were 1 year old when your grandfather died, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So Sanjeev's grandfather died a year after Sanjeev was born. Sanjeev was nearly 1 year old when his grandfather died, around 1 year old. Okay. Carry on, people. If you have a similar sentence about some other events in your life. Two years after I left university, I got my first job. 2 years after I left university, 2 years after I left university मतलब यूनिवर्सिटी छोड़ने के 2 साल बाद, यही सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है समझना, इसकी हिंदी कैसे होगी। 2 years after I left university मतलब यूनिवर्सिटी छोड़ने के 2 साल। ओके, I got my first job। ओके, मुझे मेरा पहला जॉब मिला। तो इसमें फर्स्ट इवेंट क्या है, यूनिवर्सिटी छोड़ना कि नौकरी का मिलना? फर्स्ट इवेंट क्या है सीक्वेंस में? तो अगर चाहे तो मैं पास्ट परफेक्ट यूज कर सकते हैं, वी कैन यूज द पास्ट परफेक्ट इन दैट। वी कैन से आई got my first job 2 years after I had left university. Yeah, 2 years after I had left university, I got my first job. यूनिवर्सिटी छोड़ने के 2 साल बाद मुझे मेरी पहली नौकरी मिली। Repeat the sentence, everyone. Repeat the sentence. Sana, are you here, Sana? Sana is not here. Okay. Come on, people.
2 years after you leave university, you got your first job.
Yes, sorry, could you repeat that?
2 years after you left university, you got your first job.
Yeah, 2 years after I left university, I got my first job. Okay. Okay. Dave, how about you? आप अपना सेंटेंस, मुझे पता है ये आपके लिए अभी अचानक से बहुत हाई लेवल का सेंटेंस हो सकता है, कंफ्यूजिंग हो सकता है, but give it a try, Dave. When were you born, Dave? How many years after your parents got married?
Sir, about 5 years, sir.
हाँ, तो सेंटेंस ऐसे जाएगा. I was born about 5 years after my parents got married. मैं पैदा हुआ था मम्मी पापा की शादी के लगभग 5 साल बाद. Okay, Dave was born about 5 years after his parents got married. Okay. Some other events, compare two events and the time gap between them, please. Talk about the sequence of two events, any two events, guys, in your life. इसको आसान कर दूं, आसान कर दूं, लेकिन ये भी जरूरत पड़ेगी. आसान ऐसे हो सकता है. My parents got married. 5 years after that, 5 years after that, I was born. आसान हो गया ना? आसान लगा? हिंदी वालों के लिए आसान हो गया ये. जो हिंदी बोलते हैं उनको कंफ्यूज नहीं है इसमें. देखो, my parents got married in 2000 this or in 1990 this or 1980 this. 5 years after that, 2 years after that, I was born. लेकिन ये दो सेंटेंस में तोड़ना पड़ा. अगर आप एक सेंटेंस में बोलना चाहते हो, you need this structure. I was born 5 years after my parents got married. चलो देखते हैं. The end of the Second World War, 1945. The independence of India, 1947. Come on, guys, connect the two. The end of the Second World War, 1945. 1947, India got independent. Come on, say the sentence. India got independent 2 years after the Second World War ended. India got independent 2 years after the Second World War ended. Easy? अगर before लगाना चाहे तो the Second World War ended 2 years before India got independence, right? तो समझने की कोशिश करें. भारत के आजाद होने के 2 साल पहले सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर खत्म हो गया. The Second World War ended or had ended 2 years before India got independence. कर सकते हैं ना? Please practice some in the group, guys. Please practice some. Okay. We will continue tomorrow. We are running out of time. We have only 1 minute left. So I would hate the class to end accidentally. While we are in the middle of a sentence or something. So I would rather end it now, saying goodbye to you guys, and please practice this after and before. कोई भी 2 events ले लो, पहले उसके events का year लिख दो, फिर sentence लिखो, ताकि मुझे पता चले तुमने वही लिखा जो तुम बोलना चाहते हो. जैसे India got independent 1947. Second World War ended 1945. अब लिखो एक sentence. My parents got married 1989. I was born 1991. ठीक है? उसके बाद sentence लिखो. So please, this is what you have to do. Everybody, at least 5 sentences about events and the sequence of the events using the word before and after. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Practice, practice, practice. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.